Well, hello everyone. I'm Richard Aylen from Junckers. I'm the technical manager of the company, and welcome to CFJ Digital Workshop. The presentation that I have for you is solid hardwood floors, in particular Junckers floors, and the environment, which is a very hot topic at the moment, and a lot of designers, specifiers and clients are very concerned with this at the moment. As far as solid hardwood floors are concerned, I think there are two elements to the discussion really. One is the general sustainability of wood, and the other thing that plays into its credentials is its longevity. And in fact, I think solid hardwood floors are very hard to beat in terms of making a good environmental choice for net zero carbon building design. And sustainability and longevity are two issues very closely linked. Just briefly, Junckers is a Danish company started in the 1930s by a forester called Flemming Juncker, and very successfully designed the first beach floors that the company made in the 30s, and arrived in the UK in 1965, which is a direct timeline to where we are today. The company is very closely based around forestry management and sustainable use of timber right from the very start. And the current focus on environmental issues has really become stronger than ever, as many people know. The public at large are very concerned. Governments around the globe are setting targets for environmental performance. And building professionals as well, like the architecture profession, the RIBA, have their 2030 climate challenge, which sets out some very clear rules about the materials and the different building elements that designers should be using to try and achieve net zero carbon buildings. To deal with the first of the two elements that I mentioned, longevity, a solid hardwood floor has a very, very long life, mainly because you can renovate it. So when it wears out, you sand and seal it rather than replacing it. With other types of flooring, you have a thin top layer perhaps that will wear out, that can't be replaced. Engineered boards, for example, can be sanded a couple of times normally, and then you have to replace it. A 22mm Junckers floor, for example, will have 8 to 10 sandings in its life. And that gives it a lifespan of 60 years or more. So it's good for the life of the building by normal definitions. Other floor finishes, typically synthetic floor finishes, carpets, you're really replacing those after 10 to 15 years. Even a 14mm solid hardwood floor has 4 sandings. So that's got a good lifespan of sort of 40, 50 years or so if it's properly looked after. Also means with solid hardwood you get a very good a very low life cycle cost. So the annual cost of owning that floor and looking after it is very low compared with other finishes that you'll replace more often. With solid hardwood too, you can repurpose it. Occasionally, if a building is adapted or extended and the hardwood floor won't be needed anymore, and there's a growing trade now in taking that and reusing it. So getting many more years useful life from the floor, and Junckers has a buyback scheme that it makes it very easy for clients to take advantage of that. The other general environmental benefits of solid hardwood, because of this longevity, you're reducing landfill, you're reducing the amount of energy that's used for transport, and continuously remanufacturing replacement floors. The timber that we use is all from sustainable sources, so they're managed forests, there's replanting schemes, and we have certificates that give evidence of that. We have FSC and PEFC certificates for all the timber that we use, and a full chain of custody. One of the things that is often of interest to people actually is the energy that's used to power our factory, and it's all generated from wood waste. So in effect, the wood we buy, there's nothing is wasted, because all the lower grade material is used in our on-site power station, and that generates enough electricity for the whole site, plus a surplus that's sold off to the local grid. There's a lot of focus on low carbon, low embodied carbon in the materials that are used in buildings, and hardwood like ours is a low carbon neutral material, and we have documents for people that need to sort of have evidence of those credentials. We have EPDs, environmental product declarations, which we can issue to designers and clients to show the qualities of the material that they're getting. Another way that solid hardwood contributes to the environmental good, as it were, is through indoor air quality, because it's a material where you don't really get any off-gassing, any sort of harmful emissions. And we have certification under the Danish Indoor Climate Labelling Scheme, which actually has recently been accepted by BREEAM as part of their assessments. So BREEAM assessors can use these certificates to get BREEAM credits. And we also have emissions certification under the CDPH, the American scheme. So what that means is that solid hardwood floors are a very healthy and pleasant finish to have in your home or your office or your sports centre or wherever. That indoor air quality was one of the reasons why our floors were chosen for an extra care home project in Exeter, which was designed by Max Ford and Partners. We have minimum use of glue because it's a solid hardwood floor. We're not bonding lots of layers together, so we're not using glues or solvents or anything like that. And our materials that we use aren't really derived from the petrochemical industry, rather more natural sources. Other things that we do to kind of round off the environmental picture, we have a corporate social responsibility report, which looks less at the materials that we're using, but more what is the company like as a member of the community. So that focuses on things like employee welfare, pollution, from dust, noise, water pollution, that sort of thing. So it just kind of shows what corporate citizen the company is, and that's reviewed every couple of years. And we also have ISO 14001 certification, which is for environmental management systems. So really, I think that brings us very quickly to the end of the presentation. I hope I've shown that solid hardwood flooring, particularly Junckers floors, as far as an environmental choice and a low carbon choice goes, is a very good material to use. It's a ready-made alternative actually for many floor finishes that are used almost routinely, synthetic plastic floor finishes and that kind of thing. Synthetic textiles can very easily be substituted for a solid hardwood floor with all the benefits I've just explained. And I think most people will agree that the environmental standards that we're all going to need to adhere to are likely to become more stringent rather than less. And that should confirm, I hope, solid hardwood as being a real go-to choice. Well, look, thanks for listening and watching. Hope you found that useful. Please contact us. We're more than happy to deal with any questions and queries you may have. Thanks for watching and listening, and see you next time.